Okay, so we've removed all the old foam wall and everything off the wall. It's now ready. We tacked up all of these first row of boards, and we started with a felt border on the end because we felt like it was going to give us the best finish with the least amount of custom work. So there will be a border on this side, a black felt border, and there will be the same black felt border over here, and it comes out to where we'll just have to cut exactly on the edge of a board to make that fit and work out. So nothing custom to do the edges. And the electrical all fits, if we're fortunate, all the electrical are centered in between two slats on both sides. So we're only going to have to cut out, notch out just a piece, some of these to leave the electrical exposed. We're going to put an extension box that brings the electrical box out the same distance. And then I have some custom plugs with USB and other stuff that'll go in them. So that's the plan. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to buy some paint. Go get some black matte finish paint, and we're going to do about a 3-inch border all the way around to make up for any imperfections in the wall. So everything will be black, so any imperfections won't show up. And then we're going to start at the top left. We're going to go across row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, and then the last row will be just less than about half of a panel. So we have 37 panels, and we need 32, so we got a little bit of grace. So off to the hardware store we go to get some black paint. And this is what it's replacing. A bunch of acoustic foam panels that never really 100% stuck to the wall very well. Okay, so next we cut in black all around the edges, just so that if the wall is not perfectly square and we have some deviation on the felt line, you won't see it. Okay, so now we're getting close to the end game, and we took a novel approach. So we started off with felt here, and we did that because we felt like we measured all this, and we felt like if we got over here, we could pretty much make a clean cut at the end of a board, and it would perfectly fit, and that's what we did. So if you look at this last piece, you can see we have a felt channel here, and we have a felt channel here. That should lock into the channel there and give us a perfect felt edge on the outside. So the plugs, the wall plugs, we cut the slats out, shim these out so that they're just about flush. And then I'm using these multifunction plugs. I ordered a new set in black, so there will be, the new ones will be black. But they pop in, they give me five plugs. 3 USB and a USB-C, which is neat. All right, so the last piece of the project is to cut 7 panel pieces to fill in the bottom. And what I don't have is a table saw, so I'm gonna have to create a jig. So let's go take a look at that. I've constructed this jig that sits on the bed of my truck. I can slide a panel into the jig. Exactly centers it. You can see the cut line here that I need to make, and I got enough room to run a saw. And then this is the guide line, so I'm going to be installing a guide across here, so that all I have to do is drop this in, take my saw, zip it along the guide, and be done with each cut. It should take me 20 seconds. So I very deliberately chose some old solid oak crown molding from some old cabinets. I always keep this kind of hardwood around because you never know what you might need it for. And although I don't plan on using this as crown molding, it makes an excellent guide because it's hardwood, it doesn't bend, it's straight, and it has a flat edge. So this is going to be my saw guide. Okay, so I think our jig is done. I'm going to drop this panel so it just slides right in to the exact depth. This is the guide for the saw. here, and it should cut it right about this line. It doesn't have to be exactly that line, but the most important thing is that every piece will be cut in the same place on the same line. That's the most important piece. Lastly, here was my test cut, so I'm going to roughly line it up here to where it's going to be in the jig, and you can see it's pretty close to what I want. It's a little bit longer, which is what I was hoping for, so I should get a nice inside cut there, and it should consistently cut it across the board. Let's check the other side. All right, I think we're ready. And just one last sanity check. Back of the jig to the front is 11.5. Back of the jig to the guide is 11.5. So we're good to go. Just do a quick meaningless test cut. Here's our test. Okay, here's how it works. Let's do it. So we drop our panel into the jig. We're all good. Take a couple of screws and just put them in here just to keep things from moving around as the saw progresses across, because we are dealing with felt that is cloth, so it does give a little bit. So this just provides a little bit of stability as you move across the felt. This is the piece I won't be using. All butt up against the jig. We're good to go. Okay, so let's take the saw and let's get to it. Almost forgot the most important thing. So what we don't want is any scratches in the wood. So we'll run some masking tape right at the cut line here, and we'll bring it back a couple of layers so that the plate of the saw rides on this tape, not on the wood, and scratch it. This is the piece we want to preserve. If you lay this on here, you can see that that is more than enough to protect the wood. Okay, so let's get it done. Here we go. Smoke, and I'll show you, because that is a hardwood fine cut blade, and what it doesn't like is cutting through this felt, so it actually melts it, as you can see. So that's where you're getting all the smoke. So you got to kind of clean all this up, but at the end you've got a perfectly uniform cut with the previous panel. And I've got 6 more of these to cut. And I also use the jigsaw to notch out where the electrical is going to be. And this, my friends, is the finished product. Wall to wall, we have felt border here, felt border along the top. Felt is the border here. And then down at the bottom, it looks like felt. But remember when we painted down below?
So it is cut a little short, as you can see, but underneath those slats, the wall's painted black, so it looks like consistent black border around the entire project.